Hey guys, Pitmaster here. I'm here with the doc.
John, good to see you.
What's up? Hey, we got a lot to talk about. This is like a lot to talk about. I mean, like a shit ton to talk about. First of all, I'm going to rant. CM Punk on the main card of the main MMA promotion on the planet on a pay-per-view card. Main card, pay-per-view card, UFC. CM Punk was 0-1 going into this fight. His opponent was 0-1 going to this fight. They shouldn't have been in the main card. They should not have been in the prelims. They should not have been in the what you call it, in the Fight Pass. They shouldn't have been. They should not have been in Bellator. They should not have even been in a Tachi Palace fight. Those two guys should be fighting in the amateur smokers somewhere in Alhambra, California. They should not be fighting in the UFC. It was a despicable, just a despicable way to bring down the UFC. It would be, I swear to God, the exact same scenario is if for some reason, okay, CM Punk has a big name, but he wants to try basketball. So they throw him in the NBA Finals. That's what it would be like. They would never do that because they want credibility in their sport. They're not going to say, well, this guy's rich and he's a famous wrestler, so let's let him play some basketball. It'll bring our ratings up. No, it was a despicable move. It just it lowered all the other fighters. I mean, these guys like RDA, these guys, Whitaker and Yoel Romero.
Forget it. What about the guys in the prelims?
The guys that they were at, yeah, like how about Alistair Overeem and the Blade who knocked him out? It was not okay. It was, I don't even know what to say. And it wasn't their fault. You can't blame Mike Jackson or CM Punk. It's not their fault at all. Because, I mean, but quit saying, oh, he's chasing his dream and he's a hero. No, he's not. He fought the two guys. They didn't. If it would have been heroic if they would have fought RDA or Covington.
Well, so the one difference is this isn't the first time a big name non-fighter has fought in the UFC, because Brock Lesnar did.
Right.
I wouldn't call it the same thing, but Brock Lesnar came over, but he didn't come over and fight an 0-1 amateur.
He fought Frank Mir.
He fought Frank Mir. And what did you think of that? I mean, that was bringing someone. Plus, Brock Lesnar's an athletic freak, which made that fight a big deal. And he could fight too.
Okay. So put it up there. And if he was an athletic freak and he could have played football, maybe they would let him fight in the NFL Super Bowl. But two guys that can't even fight, I mean, a lick, to put them in is just deplorable. It just made no sense. Brock Lesnar was a different story, right? Put him in the top and let him get going. He did pretty damn good for a while. But at least he fought, top-ranked guys, and people didn't go, while they're watching him fight, they didn't go, oh, God, he's terrible.
And Brock Lesnar brought his fans, but then he made fans out of, like me, like UFC fans. I don't watch WWE, but I wanted to watch Brock Lesnar fight. I would never want to watch CM Punk fight again.
No, I hope he never fights again. He should be fighting in a smoker somewhere in Alhambra, California, in somebody's Muay Thai gym, just a little smoker. No, he shouldn't have fought. Anyway, all right, let's forget about that. Okay, then we have some other controversy in that fight. Two people are claiming that their opponent was greased. Carla Esparza was saying that her opponent was greased.
She fought Claudia?
Yeah, Claudia.
Okay.
She lost.
And she lost to the person she was accusing was greasing. So tell everyone what is that? Or tell me what that is.
Greasing is just, it's Vaseline. And, 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 it's Vaseline. the corner used to put on the Vaseline, but then there was corner guys that were a little shady, and they'd rub a little Vaseline on the body. You're only supposed to put it on the face to prevent cutting. But then they'd rub it on the body, which you do in boxing, which is fine. But they would do it even though they were told specifically in the dressing room not to do it. But a lot of them would do it. So then the grappler would have a harder time taking them down because they're greased up. They put them on their legs. They put it all over. So now the corner isn't allowed to have Vaseline. The cut man puts on the Vaseline while they're going out to the cage. So the cut man puts on a little bit of Vaseline, and he'll come into the cage in between round and put on Vaseline if the guy has a little cut or an abrasion or something. So they are the only ones that are allowed to do it. Because cornermen used to put it on their fighter's face, but then they have it on their hands and like they touch their fighters and it would get all over. So these fighters, Covington and Esparza, are accusing their opponents of greasing. 2-in-1 fight. So I don't know. You'd have to go back and look at the tapes for that, but that's the corner.
What's the protocol though? When because the fighter could come in before he even comes into the stadium with stuff on him.
No, they can't.
Why can't they?
Because they check them in the dressing room, and then when they walk out to the cage, you see the cut man feeling them touch. They're not just being like perverts. They feel their whole body, and they even touch their legs. They're feeling for grease.
Okay.
They make sure they have a cup on. They make sure they don't have any grease. They make sure they have a mouthpiece. They check their fingernails and their toenails because there has been cuts caused by kicks with long toenails and grappling with long fingernails. So they cut they check their fingernails, their toenails, touch their whole body for grease, mouthpiece and cup. So you cannot go into the cage with it. So if they were greased, then they had to be greased in the cage. So guess what? There's a camera on the cut man or on the corner man the whole time, so it could be exposed pretty easily. So anyway, I don't know what'll come of that. I don't know if anything will.
Well, Covington won his fight, so nothing. I don't know what can they possibly do about that.
Maybe they could reverse the win.
He won anyway.
Yeah, like if you win, that's pretty stupid to complain after a win. Because what do you want them to do? Reverse the decision? Say, yeah, you're right. They rubbed grease on themselves, so that wasn't a fair fight. So we'll make it a no contest. That's just you won. It's stupid to complain. Complain if you lose, maybe. Like Esparza didn't lose, even though they gave her the Claudia the decision. I thought there was no way in hell Esparza lost that fight. That was a terrible decision. So, but anyway, so that's that. Okay, what else?
So have you ever seen that? Have you seen people greasing, like people you fought, or you've seen it before?
Well, not when I fought because we didn't have that. Like we were allowed to put grease all over when I was fighting. Even in the no holds barred fights, nobody ever checked for that. But we do watch our corners carefully, like the other corner. Where I remember one fight in particular where I had a grappler guy. I'm not going to mention the fight at all because I'm not throwing anyone in because I can't prove it. But I saw the corner guy putting stuff on the opponent. And I would have said something, but my guy ended up taking him down and knocking him out anyway. But I could tell for sure he was greasing it. But anyway, so I've seen it, and I don't think it happens very often. I would seriously doubt if it happened here. They're checking way too carefully for that these days. There's so much commission there now, and I don't think it happened. But anyway, so let's talk about.
Well, there was more controversy in this fight in the main card. So the main card, there was another weight issue where Yoel Romero didn't make weight by 0.2 pounds.
Yeah.
He weighed in 0.2 pounds over. I guess for a title fight, you can't weigh over anything.
No, you can't weigh at all.
So he weighed over just a tiny bit. And apparently the commission told me, okay, you got 2 more hours.
Yeah.
And then they only gave him an hour.
Right. So I see both sides. Number one, you got to put yourself in the commissioner's position. all right, you got another 2 hours. So give him the 2 hours. But now the commission is supervising. So now he looks like he's about to pass out. He does not look good physically. So they're going to cut it. Okay, now the commissioner's in trouble for cutting it early. But if he let it go on and Romero died, the commissioner will be in even more trouble.
Right. Well, and also he had the opportunity to weigh in when Whitaker weighed in.
Yeah.
and he didn't make weight. So it's hard to complain that you got extra time, but not as much extra time as you would have liked.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of suspicious things to that complaint.
So he still got to fight a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
And he was only 0.2 over, but the rules are rules. So you got to have a line somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Make
I
the
agree.
fucking wait when you weigh in. They shouldn't even give you 2 hours. They should let you weigh in and give you because sometimes scales are crazy and I know it. Sometimes it might be a little off. Sometimes for whatever reason. So they'll give you they should give you a fucking half an hour. But 2 hours, that means you didn't even cut. You didn't even cut enough. But sometimes if it's just because he didn't weigh in, didn't make it by a whole pound or something. If he missed it by 0.2 or something, I say give him another half hour, maybe 20 minutes, and he can go spit it out, pee it out, whatever. But to give him an extra 2 hours is like doing the whole weight cut again, just about. And they shouldn't be allowed to do that. That's crazy. So now, yeah, like you just said, he's complaining that he didn't make weight after he didn't make weight.
Exactly.
Right. So anyway.
So the blame rests with him.
Definitely.
Like any of these things, it's a business.
Yeah.
And canceling fights is not good for business, especially at the last minute, especially the main event championship fight.
Yeah.
So
pay-per-view.
they wiggle the rules and try to give him more time. But ultimately, if the commission doesn't think it's safe, they should stop it.
Yeah.
They absolutely should stop it.
Because he's bitching now, saying, when people bitch, this is any kind of person that bitches all the time. They're going to say, oh, you didn't give me enough time. I could have lost that extra weight. Now you're starting to look like you're about to pass out and you don't look healthy. But they let you continue and you fucking pass out and die. Guess what? You're going to bitch even more. You're going to bitch even more. You're going to say, you let me die. You let me die. I'm going to sue you now.
That's the worst. Bitching after you're dead.
That's the
worst.
Post-mortem bitching is it sounds like my ex-wife. That's what never mind. So anyway, okay, so we got that.
So anyway, the fight went on. Let's talk about the main. You want to talk about the main fight?
Let's talk about the main fight. It was a great fight.
It was the best fight.
It was the best fight ever.
So this is Yoel Romero and Robert Whitaker. They fought before. Right. Robert Whitaker won before.
By a little bit more last time.
So this was close, and
really
I was surprised. I don't know Yoel Romero that well, but I was surprised how he fought in round 1. He came out, and he basically stood there. I mean, there wasn't a lot of footwork. He
gave up round 1,
and he was very defensive.
Yeah.
He didn't really throw a lot of strikes, but his style was just I don't know. Sometimes you want to feel a fighter out or see what they're going to do.
He's trying to save his energy.
So if he's trying to save his energy, that comes back to, well, is he totally sapped for energy because of this botched weight cut too?
Yeah.
That could have affected him as well.
Yeah.
So he comes out saving his energy, which could have paid off if he won.
Yeah.
But when you come down to a really close decision at the end, you go back and look at it in retrospect and say, man, he sure was slow to get going.
Yeah, he should push it. First of all, I think the fight. I think it was a good decision, but it could have gone. I think it could have gone to a draw. I don't think Romero won that fight by any stretch, but I definitely think it could have been a draw. But I think it's fair that Whitaker won. So it could have been a draw. I wouldn't have if I was in the corner of Whitaker and they gave it a draw, which would have meant he kept his title if it was a title fight, which it wasn't. I wouldn't have complained at all. If he lost, I would have complained. It was a really close fight, and I think it was a good decision. But like I said, if I was the judge, I think I honestly would have given it a draw.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone could have argued with that.
Nobody would argue with a draw.
And it wasn't for the belt anyway. You know, you kind of look at those matches and you go, well, the tie goes to the champion.
It does.
It's kind of traditionally, right?
Yeah, it does.
But this wasn't really for the belt,
right.
Although it should have been.
But bringing up that, I don't know if it's a draw, the second one. It could have maybe then justified a third match. But when people talk about rubber matches, let's have a rubber match now. Maybe I'm like getting the terminology wrong or the definition of a rubber match. A rubber match is when it's 1-1, so you fight again to decide. So it's 2 out of 3. But if it's 2-0, then what would a rubber match do? Then this guy wins. Now it's this. Whitaker still won 2. So Romero's still lost the trio. So rubber match would have to be 3 more fights. You know what I mean? And he'd have to win all 3 of them because he's already lost 2 in a row. So you can't have a rubber match if it's 2-0. Just, you know. Anyway, so it's not a rubber match, people. Look it up in the dictionary under rubber match.
And yeah, I think that goes beyond boxing or fighting sports. I think
it's anything.
Right, like, anything. 1-1, and then you have a tiebreaker.
It's like a hat trick.
Yeah.
What's a hat trick again? It's
when
you get
hockey.
3. Yeah, you get 3, right?
Yeah. So, but to Yoel Romero, if he's 41 years old.
He's a stud.
God, that guy is amazing.
Killer. If he came on in the first round and fought in the first round like he did the second, third, fourth, fifth, he would have won the fight. Unless he gassed. And I think that's why he didn't come out in the first round. He was conserving energy. So it would gamble. It would have been a weird gamble. I mean, but I think if he came out stronger in the first round, he would have won the fight. But like I said, unless he knew he was gonna gas.
And they went 5 rounds.
He did not gas.
And he didn't gas, and they went 5 rounds. But we've seen guys that look amazing like he looks gas in 1 round.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, the cardio is a different thing. He had his cardio. And
his cardio was a lot better than I thought it'd be. I mean, so he went 4 hard rounds. A lot of times I've seen him fight where he gasses a lot sooner than that. So his conditioning was pretty tight. So he went really good for 4 rounds. He should have pushed that, but I don't know. Maybe that fifth round, which would have been the first round, would have gassed him out. So maybe he was smart to play it safe, and at least he lasted. He might have completely gassed out the 5th round, maybe. So we don't know. But we'll never know, and no one will ever know.
We might know, because they might fight again. I would watch them fight again for sure. Even though Whitaker's won 2, it's not like they were decisive, like avalanche victories.
I know, but I still don't think it would be fair. He's already beat him twice. I don't think he should have to fight him again. But
well, if he wants to fight him again.
Yeah, if he wants to,
I think it would be a big draw. I think people would love to see them fight again. I would anyway. Yeah. That was by far... So the difference between that fight on the main card and the first fight on the main card, you couldn't get more different in those 2 fights. The CM Punk Jackson fight versus this fight. We're both on the same main card. Couldn't have been more different fights. So that kind of made up for it a little.
That's a disgrace. That's a disgrace. It's like Yoel and Robert are sitting there having a beer after the fight, and then CM Punk and Jackson walk in, and they have to know they're on the same card, so they're the same almost. They should be on the same. They should be at the same skill level. It'd be like if you're on the team, the NBA All-Star team, and then you have the guys at the super level of Yoel and Robert, and then you have 2 guys playing, not even on the bench warmers. They're in the fucking lineup. You'd have a CM Punk and a Jackson in the same lineup. It's a disgrace. It never should have happened. Never.
Yeah, I agree. And what do you think about these kicks? These side kicks or whatever to the front of the leg. How much longer do you think that's going to be legal? That, as a doctor watching that, I do not like to see that at all. Every one of those that lands, you're like, oh, that's going to tear this guy's knee up in shreds.
It's just trying to grab at the lowest hanging fruit, and I think it's a cheap.
It's dirty.
It's cheap.
It's like dirty.
To me, if you're allowed to dislocate their knee like that in such an easy way, you should be allowed to kick in the balls. Why can't you kick in the balls?
Or why have all these other rules that you can't do?
Yeah.
You can't bend someone's fingers and break them. But you can break their knee. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
You can mess up someone's knee so badly like that.
It's so inconsistent. If you're gonna do that, let them kick in the balls. I've seen guys sprain their knees and tear ligaments with that kick. But I've seen so many guys get kicked in the balls and punched in the balls. I've never seen an injury. It just hurts. Let them, if you're going to let them do that, let them kick in the balls too. You know what I mean? If you want to take it to the next level, let them fucking jab each other's eyes. Fucking, it's a stupid ass rule. You can't kick it, you can't hit in the back of the head, even though the back of the head and the front of the head, same brain damage, people. Same brain damage. There's no difference. But you can kick straight at the knee to try to tear ligaments in their knee, but you can't kick them in the balls.
But that kick is specifically designed. The only reason you would do it is to try to completely incapacitate your opponent with an injury that you may not recover from. So for me, watching that, you can do leg kicks. You're going to recover from leg kicks. Yeah. Even if you take out their knee from a side kick.
Yeah.
On the side of the knee, you're probably going to be all right. But hyperextending somebody's knee like that on purpose.
Please, guys.
It certainly creates space. I can say that because you don't want,
Right. See, it could create even more space if the guy's on the ground with a fucking torn ligaments in his knee.
Right.
It create a lot of space.
I don't like that kick at all.
It's stupid. It's stupid and it should be illegal. If you're going to make it legal, keep it legal. Okay, and you can't pull back the pinky because you might hurt the pinky. That's stupid. You can't kick in the balls because it hurts. I mean, it's just fucking ludicrous. You can't even do a 12 to 6 elbow on the guy's leg, but you can tear their ligament in their knee on purpose. It's stupid, and it should be banned immediately.
All right. I agree. And then there was one orthopedic injury here you can see on the screen, but if you're listening to this, it's Robert Whittaker's right hand. And he apparently in the first round, he broke his first metacarpal, which is the base of your thumb, basically. So your ability to grapple or grab or grip anything after that is gone. Punch is
bad.
Better if he's numb, but but he would still have the force. You're not punching with your thumb. It's
But this creates so much. This makes it so much tighter. Without the thumb, it's just not even a fist anymore. So I think this would impair that a lot. And a lot of thumb is involved when you're punching.
Well, and that may be how he broke it. You can see it's a displaced fracture. It's pretty bad. He's having surgery on it.
Because when you throw a hook, and you guys can't see this, but a lot of times you're actually hitting with your thumb. Overhand rights, a lot of times it hits with the thumb. A lot of punches when the guy's head moves, it hits with the thumb. The thumb is involved in a lot more of the punching. That's why we wrap and tape the thumb. But some people don't like it wrapped or taped because they want more dexterity with their gripping, but they're giving up some stability for a potential break. So you have to remember that. And that has to do with a lot of the wrapping. A lot of people don't like it wrapped as tight because they want better gripping, but then they're giving up the potential. If they're going to start striking, then they have a better chance of breaking their hand. So he had a terrible break. I think it's a really bad break, and it must have hurt like shit. But this guy is so tough. He probably got like at least 8 concussions during that fight. I bet he doesn't even remember his name right now.
That fight was brutal.
Oh my God.
But it was a back and forth, which is what made it a good fight. He would come back. Yeah. He got rocked a few times, but would come back, and he came back and won. But that's what made for such a great fight. And the fact that he fought with it, he's right-handed, I'm assuming, but he fought with his dominant hand with a really bad fracture, is broken, and he needs surgery on it from round 1 for 5 rounds. Also, you see some of these guys get hurt, and they almost, like a leg injury, they don't limp until after the fight's over.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't catch up with you adrenaline-wise or whatever until...
Not really. I mean, it hurts, but you don't want to show your opponent that. So after the fight, you're like, fuck it. Oh, shit. It's done now. But they're feeling it. I'm telling you right now, they feel it throughout the fight. It hurts like shit. Because the adrenaline doesn't just disappear when when their fight's over, then they limp off. But it hurts like shit. These guys are so tough. And you know what? I mean, Whitaker's so tough. Court McGee beat Whitaker. Then that says so much for Court.
I think that was that Whitaker's last loss?
No, I don't think so, but it could have been. I think he got KO'd by. No, I don't know.
Look at all these wins.
Yeah,
His last. Oh, Stephen Thompson. So he lost to Court and then Wonder Boy.
Okay.
And then he's won everything since then.
But I mean, with that, as good as he is, I love Whitaker. And I think he's a great champion and he's just a great guy. I mean, he's what all MMA guys should be. You know? I mean, him and Court, when they fought, it was like two guys. And okay, I'm going to give Yoel too. Yoel is nothing but respect. I think he shows so much class. I mean, people, he has a they like to vilify him because of his steroid past and his something with the Olympics. He did some kind of supposed cheating or whatever. But right now, the way he fights in the UFC, even this last fight, I'm sorry he's complaining, and I don't think he should, but during the fight, he showed nothing but class. Even after the fight, nothing but class. And he took a lot of shots, and he was coming forward trying for the knockout from the second round all the way to the fifth. So I think Yoel Romero showed so much heart and so much skill and so much power and so much conditioning. So I say both of these guys who showed so much respect deserve fight of the fucking year, you know. But Romero, I think equally so.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
It was.
And so there was a fight right before that fight.
Yeah.
So Colby Covington.
Yeah.
Who's made himself more famous lately, fought Rafael dos Anjos.
Yeah, and I don't think it was a really good fight. I think Covington beat him clearly, but to me, if you're gonna talk that much smack, not I'm gonna out wrestle you. I can out wrestle you all day long. I can take you down all day long. I can out wrestle you. I can out hold you. If that was his bragging, and that's how he was selling that fight, okay, then he's gonna wrestle. But I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna knock you out. But then you don't want to bang with someone. You want to hold them, smother them, take them down. That's great. You're showing tons more skill and conditioning. I'll give you that. But unless you're fucking banging, don't start talking smack before the fight or even after the fight. Unless you want to bang, don't act like you're the tougher guy. Act like you're the more skilled wrestler or grappler, but don't act like you're the tougher guy, because you're not unless you're willing to stand there and bang.
And then that's Colby's background too. He was a wrestler.
Right.
I think a high school state champion wrestler and a college wrestler.
Huge pedigree and a very good wrestler. But he's not.
But he was saying before the fight that RDA is going to leave in a stretcher.
Yeah, you can't. Let me just tell you something. You can't put someone in a stretcher by laying on them and holding them. You want to pick them up and slam them upside down. You're going to lose the fight. Because that's illegal. He's not going to leave in a stretcher by you out holding him, out positioning him, out maneuvering him and grappling. He's not going to leave in a stretcher. If you want him to leave in a stretcher, you need to either break his leg with some kind of submission or knock the shit out of him. You didn't do either. So you didn't really beat the shit out of him like you said you were going to. You definitely out-wrestled him. You out-maneuvered him. And you out-positioned him. But you didn't beat the shit out of him by far. You really didn't. So that kind of bragging rights, just say, I'm going to out-wrestle my guys because I'm a wrestler. I'm not really a banger, but I'm going to out-wrestle the shit out of all my guys. That should be how you brag before your fights.
I agree. Right. And then afterwards, what did he say? He said in the press conference he's going to the White House. I don't know that he's invited to the White House.
That was the only thing that I liked about him, was saying, like Trump, he's going to make this great. I liked that. To me, that was good. But he wasn't invited. I think he should have been. But he wasn't. And making the division great again, I kind of agree with him. I think he's something that's lighting a fire under people like Woodley. Woodley isn't liked enough, because I think Woodley is a freaking huge talent. But he just rubs like some fans the wrong way, and the way he talks, but he's so skilled. He has a fucking knockout punch, much more than Covington. I mean, look what he did with Lawler. He's a one-punch knockout artist, and he's a fantastic wrestler. So I think he's a better all-around fighter than Covington. But for some reason, he just hasn't caught on yet. So I think with Covington in there, raising the bar for popularity or unpopularity, as it were, I think this gives Woodley a great chance to rise up and shut Covington up, and then he'll become more of a liked fighter. I love Tyron Woodley. I think he's great, but he's just not as popular as he should be. Has nothing to do with his color, has nothing to do with his style, because I think he has a fucking unbelievable style, and nothing about his color. There's something about him. Just sometimes people don't click with the fans. I think him beating the shit out of Covington, he'll click with the fans, and I think he's gonna rise up to where he should be. So take that, Tyrone, and I think Covington is gonna be your ticket to whatever. I think that's gonna be the Ali Foreman. That's gonna be the Ali Frazier, whatever. That's gonna be the Arturo Gatti. Whatever. Who did he fight for the movie? Remember? Whatever. You know what I'm saying. You're not okay. You're gonna be the Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner. That's gonna be your rise. Is knocking out Colby Covington. So anyway, all right. So that's that. That fight happened. We had Holly Holmes.
She's impressive.
She is great. I mean, I've never really liked watching. I've never been really a huge fan of hers. Nothing personal, nothing, just, I don't know, I'm just, certain people, I just like.
She doesn't come out with a lot of charisma. I mean, she doesn't really smile or anything.
No, she doesn't. I don't know why, but after this fight, I do. Because I've watched her, and thanks a lot to her team. I mean, her team has created a monster. I mean, now she's not only a great boxer and kickboxer, but she's now she's an animal wrestler. An animal at wrestling. Takedowns. She has such good control with her clinching and her dominant positions.
And to take this girl down.
Yeah.
So she fought Megan Anderson, who is 6 feet tall.
12. She's almost 7 feet tall.
She's giant, and she has these huge long limbs.
She's like a spider.
Holly would go for a takedown, and this girl's legs were so long, trying to knock her over. She was able to do it, but it definitely looked like a challenge, and she was able to take her down. So I think their size mismatch was kind of part of the fight as well.
It was, but Holly was able to overcome that, and I think Holly realized in the first 30 seconds of the fight, this girl showed some serious. She came out banging. At first, I go, oh shit,
Holly's banging. I think she got her with a knee or
it was
elbow, and
I thought she was gonna KO her, and then all of a sudden Holly turned it around. Great fight IQ. She turned it around and she imposed her grappling will, and she just won all. She won all 3 rounds without a doubt, and she showed how much she has evolved. She's not just a great kickboxer in MMA. Now she is a full-on MMA fighter. So kudos to her, and kudos to her great camp. She still trains with Jacksons, and they have created. To me, I think that's their biggest, best from zero to where she is now. Creation from scratch. They've created that from scratch, and I think they've done a great job. So good fight with her, and she won easily.
Yeah, she won a decision at the end.
Yeah. So we got that.
And the other big fight was Arlovsky and Tuivasa.
Yeah, Tuivasa.
The shoey guy.
Yeah, who drank the beer out of some strange.
He asked Joe Rogan. Did you hear that?
Yeah, Joe Rogan said no.
He asked him to drink a beer out of his shoe. Joe Rogan said no.
I don't blame him. That's like perverted. That's like.
I don't know if that's an Australian thing or what is that?
I have no
idea. The shoey. I don't know. It's definitely something.
It was definitely a good fight. It was a back and forth fight. I thought Arlovsky won. but not by much. I could see it going both ways because Tua was the more of the power hitter, but I felt Arlovsky was more of a numbers guy. It looked like he controlled the distance more, but it could have gone either way. I just maybe because I like Arlovsky so much and he's such a warrior, maybe I gave it to him. But I actually thought he won a decision, and they didn't give it to him. So I don't think I would complain about that if I was in his corner. But you know, this Samoan is freaking. He's like a mule.
His stats coming into this fight were ridiculous. He had 9 wins in a row by first round knockout.
Yeah, and
first round.
So
he actually got this fight. You know, Arlovsky took him the distance.
And Arlovsky, I think Arlovsky did a great job in controlling the distance. Distance is king. Distance is everything. Whoever controls the distance controls the fight. Just ask Covington or RDA. Just ask what you call Holly Holmes. Distance is everything. Ask Whitaker. He controlled the distance. That's why he won that fight. He was able to go in, get his shots, then control the distance. Distance is king. So, with that said, now Dana wants, speaking of distance, Dana wants to distance the weigh-in back to the evenings. There's a lot of flack with that. Some of the fighters, especially Al Quinta, do not like that. He's saying, I'm just going to weigh in the morning anyway. You can't weigh in the morning anyway.
The whole point of this, though, from a medical fighter safety point of view, is, hey, we have the weigh-in at 4 p.m. They fight the next night. Let's move it to the morning and give them more time to be healthier and recover from their weight cut before they fight. Maybe make a better fight. Maybe the guys have more stamina. Maybe they're more hydrated. Maybe it's less chance they're going to get hurt. So let's make a conscious decision to do the right thing and make the weigh-ins earlier. Is that right? Is that why they moved the weigh-ins?
Yeah.
It was like 2 years ago. They moved the weigh-ins to be in the morning.
They did. I think it was working out great. A couple guys now they're trying to overdo it. But one of the reasons and a couple guys didn't make weight. But you have to also realize when they changed the weight time, they also took away the IV. So if you're going to bring it back to the evening, you got to bring back the IV or you're going to have a lot of fucking dehydrated guys. And you're still going to have just as many because the IV's gone now. So you're going to have just as many guys that aren't making the weight. Another thing you have to remember or think about is that, you know, the brain, right? You're going to get more chance of concussions with that. That's what they say. But they've never proven that. Not in the UFC anyway. So people are going to, the commissioner's going to dispute that. So it's gonna go back and forth, and stats are showing, I think without a doubt, that stats are showing that that there are more people missing weight now because of this morning weight cuts. You know, the weigh-in, the morning weigh-in. So, I mean, Dana has a good argument about that.
Yeah, but that's not for the safety of the fighters or for the health of the sport. That's because people are missing weight, right, which affects the promotion.
Right.
So for me, if you're gonna take the moral high ground and say we're moving the weigh-ins earlier because it's healthier and safer for our fighters, and then go, well, that didn't work because now guys are missing weight, so let's just move it back.
Yeah.
That's kind of contradictory to the message of why the weight cuts get moved.
Yeah. So he's not looking out for his fighter safety at all. And to me, honestly, guys would be much more willing to make the weight because a lot of guys, they don't push it quite as hard because there's no more IV. The IV, come on, the IV was huge. So yeah, the IV is huge when they're cutting the weight. I'll be right there. You know, because it helps so much more to safely replenish. Trying to drink after you've dehydrated that much, now just trying to drink a shit ton of water, it's not going to work. your stomach feels bloated, then you don't want to drink anymore. It starts making you feel sluggish. It doesn't work the same way. The IV does. So maybe you should have commission guys, maybe stand over, because sometimes when guys are just kind of doing IVs in their room and it's just trainers and a lot of people don't know how to do it correctly. They don't know what to put in the bag. I've seen people put some crazy shit in those IV bags that's very dangerous. I think with either a half normal saline or a normal saline, just simple hydration, forget lactated ringers, forget mag sulfate, just normal saline or half normal saline, and have somebody that's hired by the commission, a nurse or something, give the guys IVs. Much safer. They're going to be rehydrated much better, and I think they should keep it in the morning.
Well, if they keep it in the morning, you don't need to worry about the IVs. I think they should keep it in the morning, give them plenty of time. They can orally rehydrate effectively, and give them plenty of time to get back to being hydrated before the fight. That make the weigh-ins the next. But Dana White's saying that people, they're not morning people.
Yeah.
Or you have to cut weight the night before, and then you can't sleep, and it makes you miserable. The interesting thing here is it seems like the fighters that are coming out and at least being vocal are totally against it, like Iaquinta.
Yeah, there's been a couple.
Dana White's saying, "Oh no, all the fighters want it." So it's a little bit of a, I
think it's bad on his promotion because it's hard. I mean, I think they should be day of weigh-ins, and then people would fight a lot closer to the weight. It wouldn't be as big a problem. People wouldn't be trying to do it as much. But there'd still be guys that are missing weight, and then it'd be hard on their promotion because then they're missing weight the day of. But I think there'd be less people missing because more people would be fighting closer to their weight.
Or you just make the penalty harsher too. Instead of a 30% of their purse, you miss weight, then it's more.
Yeah.
Then that would totally discourage people from fighting out of their weight class, and you could weigh in the day of fights, which would be a lot healthier and safer. Having to cut weight at all it doesn't help you in any way to win a fight.
Yeah.
Other than you can weigh more than you're supposed to for that weight class.
That's all that's about, and that's what I think Dana is. If he wants to go nighttime weigh-ins, he should just make a day of, and make the fine fucking unbelievable. So guys do make the freaking weight, and they just
or if
move
they
up.
Can't make the weight, they move up.
They move up to the next weight class. That's the next.
But everybody does, so that it's fair. So you're not fighting a guy. You get in the ring and you're fighting a guy that's way bigger than you because he really isn't in your weight class.
So because he's a better weight cutter. You might be a better fighter, but he's a better weight cutter. So now he's going to have the advantage. Everyone should weigh in the day of the fight from now on.
Yeah, and you should weigh in. Should fight in the weight class.
What your normal weight is.
There you go.
We just solved it. With that note, we're out of here. Thanks for coming.
It makes it easy.
Share this. Because we just fixed this whole... Dana, make sure you watch this. We just solved the biggest problem ever. Weigh in, day of fight. If they don't make it...
Massive penalty.
Massive. Don't let them fight in the UFC anymore. I bet you everyone would make it.
Or just make it an 80% penalty. How many times are you going to want to do that?
Yeah, that's a better idea. Make it 80% of their purse, and it all goes to their opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
Ding.
Any other problems we need to solve?
No, we're good. Thanks.
All right.
See you guys.